credit to Dayton. Thought they, were the better team, the aggressor. Outplayed us for the vast majority of the game, and deserved to win. We didn't have our fastball on either end tonight. I didn't think we were particularly good defensively, particularly the first 12, 13 minutes. And I thought we got a little better there. We were, equally as bad or worse offensively. A lot of the game, our offense was their best offense. Just, the points in transition off turnovers. But it was, the crowd I thought was amazing. I want to thank everybody that came. That was an awesome atmosphere, and I would, hope they stick with us. We're going to work to make where nights like tonight are, not an anomaly, but a regular occurrence. And we know we got work to do for that to be the case. But I hope they stick with us. We come back and have George Mason here in about whatever it is, 12 days back at home. So, credit to Dayton. They outplayed us. We're the better team, deserve to win. We got to be much better on both ends of the floor than we were tonight. That was, to me, since maybe since Illinois State, the worst we've been on both ends of the floor.
How did the two early fouls on Robbie affect both him and the rest of the team?
I don't know. I mean, fouls. I don't know. I mean, he was struggling, before the fouls. I thought, just rough patch for him. All really good players have it. Things aren't always linear. Regression and friction can be good because they can stimulate growth. But I don't know. I mean, we played him through the two fouls. He never really got in serious foul trouble. Obviously you don't want your guys to have to early, but I didn't think it necessarily. I wouldn't say that was why maybe he wasn't at his best. I would have to ask him, but I don't think that had anything to do with it.
Yes. He's had the turnovers 2 games in a row, really high. And then, he's missing shots, those layups that he doesn't normally miss and things. Is there, do you see something in him that's off? Or?
Certainly, I don't know that he's had really 2, high turnover games. I think he had 8 against VCU? 7, so 14 the last 2 games, and it was pretty high against GW as well, if I remember. So it was 3 games in a row where he's throwing the ball away a lot. That's not normally him. He's normally a 2 assist to 1 turnover guy historically in his career. I don't know. Obviously, we have to look at it as a staff and figure out what's going on. The shots late, he makes those, in his sleep. That's the drive to his left hand. He got 2, point-blank looks. I didn't think, Dayton was guarding. They weren't doubling. They were kind of leaving Letang down there. And then he was just the all-time help. So when we drove, first half, when we would drive, they put him on Kalu and they would just come over, and I think they blocked 5 shots, and Letang was 4 of them. And our guys, I didn't think we did a very good job of having paint patience and understanding, again, you just keep challenging a guy who's 7'1" is, said on the radio, a thin line between, courage and stupidity. And that trended in the direction of stupidity to keep doing the same thing as a 7'1" guy at the rim, and he keeps blocking your shots. So, but Rob's, he's got to play better. He knows that. I don't have any doubt that he will. Like I said, I think, this is the roughest patch for him in his 3 years, even as a freshman. I think there's a variety of reasons for that, but the biggest thing is he has to keep working and work through it. And all the faith in the world that he'll be better moving forward. He was great for most of when he got healthy, and so it's not a health thing. I don't think it's not anything where he looks any different. But the top of the key 3 that he normally makes, we get a board ball there. But I really thought the next one where we're 66-61 and we ran a little flare for him, and he got open, and he hesitated, and then he tried to pass it, and we turned it over, and he got his 5th foul. He's got to shoot that 1, 2, and, we'll live with it. You live with it. He's got to have that confidence in himself. This will, as painful as it is, this regression, this struggle will be good for him because it's going to force him to really fight through it and figure it out, and it'll be something he looks back on as a positive. But right now he's hurting, and he knows he's got to play better.
It seemed like the turnovers, not just for Robbie but for the whole team, were probably of a very frustrating. If you had hair, it would cost you to lose it.
To lose it, yeah, yeah, because they were. I thought they were, they were soft turnovers. I mean, it wasn't like they were pressuring us. It's not like VCU where they're into you. And, Dayton's a good defensive team. They're fine. Don't get me wrong. But, the turnovers were just I got to go back and watch the film. But, so many were just boneheads, soft plays, getting the ball taken out of our hands, playing in crowds, trying to force passes that aren't there. We got a couple charges. Rob got one, Swope got one. It was just a wide variety of things. But you can't. You can win a game when you turn it over 19 times and whatever. But you would have to be so much better than we were defensively. And I don't know. I have to kind of go back through the film, but I think they made 11 threes, and I would bet money that 10 are scouting report threes. We got to go over Javon Bennett's ball screens because he can really shoot behind whips, and we whip 3 of them, and he makes all 3. We try to, go ball side of a down screen on Enoch Cheeks. He bump fades it, makes an open 3. We get hung up on a flare screen on Nate Santos. He makes an open 3. We overhelp on a Posh Alexander drive, and he kicks it to Enoch Cheeks, who's wide open top of the key because we overhelp on a drive, and he bangs a 3. That's 6 or 7 off the top of my head without even watching the film that I know that we had mental breakdowns. I thought our defense after the first 12 minutes, 13 minutes picked up. I actually thought it kept us in the game for a large stretch of it. And we gave ourselves a chance. I don't know, what was it, 4 points there with, with 2 minutes to play. We have every chance to win the game. And, we missed a couple bunnies. And then the possession, where we switched Rob over to Posh, to put him on Posh, to switch Letang's ball screens. And Posh gets downhill. Rob makes a great play to block it. We don't come up with that loose ball. They kick it out. They shoot the opposite 3. They miss it, hit the backboard, and the shot got to expire. And I did not see that one live, but we missed the box out. Posh gets it, he gets fouled, makes 2 free throws. We should have the ball there in a 4-point game going down to try to score on a broken floor. Instead, they make 2 free throws at 6. Those are what kill you. So they'll the layups late, but really it's everything. It's an accumulation of plays on both sides of the floor, and there was just. So many of them, so many scouting report breakdowns we've been really good at here recently, and then offensively turnovers and I thought Dayton did a really good job defensively, but and we made some tough shots to kind of work our way back in. But we also did a really poor job attacking them.
You say scouting report threes, just stuff that they're going to try to get to, and they just didn't cover it the way you practiced?
Yeah, or stuff you can't do. When you're scouting any team, it's like, who has the ball the most, what do they do at point of attack, what's your on-ball coverage when they get into ball screens, and then everything else is usually it's a closeout game. How are you closing out? Are you closing out short, long? Are you trying to, and so can you win your closeouts? So on Javon Bennett, you can't go under a ball screen because he's going to, now I thought we did a really good job on Smith of going under those and forcing him to shoot pull-up threes, and we actually negate a lot of his stuff. We did a great job on Smith, but we did a really poor job on Bennett. We did a really poor job on Santos. We had enough breakdowns. Cheeks 2 threes, I think he made 2. We're both breakdowns, and Dylan whips a pin down, goes ball side, Cheeks bumps it, Amari overhelps on Posh's drive, kicks it out, he gets a wide open top of the key 3. Those are scouting report errors. Those are breakdowns, mental breakdowns that we know going the game, we've discussed, we've reviewed. And good teams, when you screw those things up, so what makes them good is they make you pay. They a bad team misses those shots and nobody notices. Good teams, you screw that stuff up. And so I thought our first 12 minutes of defense was pretty bad. Even though early they weren't scoring a ton, Sheik comes down in transition. Our feet get below the three-point line. He's a great shooter. He shoots a wide-open pull-up three, misses it, but Santos got a wide-open three. We didn't close out to his chest. He misses it. So while the crowd's going, okay, we're playing pretty good defense, they're missing, I know that we're not dialed into it because I know if we continue to do those things, we're going to make those shots, and sure enough. Now, I think at a certain point we corrected, but we still – and there was a miscommunication. Second half, Bennett makes an open three on a – Gibb goes under one, which I guess there's miscommunication with him and Kalu, and then we get hung up in Santos' flare screen. He bangs a three. I mean, there was a variety of things that happened. Letang makes a pick and pop three. We didn't veer correctly late, which was probably the dagger of the game when he made that three late.
You said a few weeks ago, I think after the St. Bonaventure game, that this is an offense that should be better in a month than it was then, and then after another month better because of the unpredictability or whatever. Where do you think the offense is now compared to where it was 3 weeks ago, just in terms of function?
I mean, certainly not in a trajectory that we want to be in. We're absolutely laboring on that end. And there's a variety. I mean, the number one reason we're struggling is we're turning the ball over at an alarming rate. Hasn't been a massive issue all year. It's been a massive issue here the last 5 games or so. You can't, because turnovers, if you look at basketball, or any sport really, the key to winning is trying to eliminate losing. So you just reverse engineer it. What's the worst thing you can do in basketball? And really the worst thing you can do in basketball is turn the ball over. Live ball, because it compromises, it takes a shot away, but also usually compromises your defense because you can't guard the turnover. And they get a layup or a dunk and we had so many, I think they had 23 points off turnovers. So if that number is 10, you win the game, right? But that number would have to be 10 because you're not turning it over 19 times. We've got to take better care of the ball. We've got to play with more intent, more purpose. I've got to figure out better ways to get guys playing at a higher level. I thought, Swope's second half was a little bit better. We have a little more force there. I thought Kobe did what Kobe does. I thought Gibb got downhill and was aggressive and made threes and made some tough shots, and Swope made some tough shots to kind of pull us back. And I've got to, we've got to find a way to get Robbie going. Obviously, you need your best players playing. We don't have enough depth to just, throw various guys out there. And then the bench, Dylan gave us really good minutes. We need Killian or somebody on the bench outside of Dylan to start making some shots. We got a couple clean looks there. We're not able to make them. Mari's got to be more dialed into the game plan. That's some of the mistakes he's having are just, typical of freshmen, where it's the attention to detail. He's competing. He's just got to do it with, playing hard, but also playing with full level of focus and concentration, and on and on. So I've got to do a better job. We've got to really look at it and try to figure it out. But the number one key offensively would be to not turn the ball over. I think tonight was 28% of our possession turn the ball over. I mean, we're turning it over in the conference over 20% of our possessions, which is 1 of every 5. I mean, that's, we were like 16% last year. That doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a massive difference in turnover percentage. And we got to be, and it's been now about 5 games in a row where our turnovers have been way too high percentage-wise.
I know you didn't have it happen after the one stretch where you had both Isaiah and Robbie out. They might have a very good game other than that. But that stretch did break Dayton's way pretty big in the first half. What's your thought process, I guess, before you sent out a 5 without either Swope or Avila? And what did you think it was a risk, and obviously kind of bitch it?
Yeah, no, it certainly was a risk. I mean, you look at the numbers. I mean, Rob, as bad as he played, was +5. In his minutes, Swope was +1. The bench, that's why it's not always accurate. But I'm like, we had some guys at bench, -11, -15, in their minutes. You know, the thought was trying to just buy Swope a little break, and Rob managing the 2 fouls, and he was struggling with turns anyway. So it's like, can we get Kalu in there at the 5, and maybe get to some different actions and try to leverage some things differently? Was not good for us. I mean, we got a couple of clean looks, whether that was, Killian, like I said, got a couple clean looks and they didn't go down for him. But, across the board, our guys, it was, try not to not have both of them out there, but it was a little bit unique with the foul situation. I was trying to manage that. And then I thought Swope looked like he would look a little fatigued. We were asking a lot of him, guarding cheeks and chasing through all that stuff. So trying to just, give that. And that's where our bench has got to come in, and those guys got to be better. Again, they're kind of thrust into, playing, and Dylan's doing a great job in a tough circumstance. We need Amari and Max and Killian to be ready to go as well, because at the end of the day, we're only, right now we're playing with 9 guys, and those 9 guys all got to be ready to contribute, because in a game, they're going to be called on in various scenarios.
The lane violation late, was that, did they say Kalu pushed the guy? Or
They said he bumped him. They didn't say he pushed him, but they said he bumped him, which, he's like, if he didn't fall in, I wouldn't have called it. But I was like, well, if you don't have to call anything because it was a made free throw, you don't have to just let it go. I mean, it wasn't that big a deal. That wasn't why we lost the game, of course, but it was it's a bonehead play late. Like, you don't need to even risk it. I don't know that I've seen that called where, like, he didn't, like I said, he didn't shove him. He said he bumped him or something like that. But he made the free throw. At the end of the day, it's just a wash. I mean, there's no lane violation on made free throw. Just let it go. You're 66, 60, whatever, 59. Then Dylan makes a 3 to make it 62, and you're sitting there, with a chance there late. And like I said, we gave ourselves a chance. Our defense tightened up, and it gave us a chance late. But we just, in the money time part of it, our offense wasn't good enough. We couldn't convert, and then the loose ball plays. Letang makes a big free throw, two big free throws. Not a great free throw shooter. He makes front end of a 1-on-1, makes 2 big, makes a huge 3, and then they drilled their free throws down the stretch, and we just weren't able to, we weren't able to on either end do enough to get over the hump. We put some game pressure on them, and I thought, like I said, with about 2.5 to go in a 4-point game, that we really had a legitimate chance. And if we get that rebound on all that play, you're breaking a broken floor in a 4-point game, and you score to cut it to a 1-possession game, and it's anybody's ball game at that point. We couldn't ever get over the hump.
What you mentioned this, and I was thinking about it. What do we make of Robbie's game and his +5? Anything?
It's hard in a 1-game sample size
Yeah.
to read too much into like plus minus. I think it's one of those things that you got to look at over time, but. I mean, you do look at somebody's, net rating, what they are when they're out there offensively and defensively is something that we study for our guys. Rob for the season has been obviously really high in net rating, even though, people probably wouldn't think that because they don't think he's a great defender, but he does clog some things up, block some shots. I don't know what he did tonight. He blocked, I guess, a couple shot, 2, and Kalu got 4. We blocked 8 shots. He clogs stuff up, vertical contest, does some things. Ball screen coverage usually pretty good. It wasn't great tonight. He was just off. But no, I don't think. I mean, it's like, Rob was +5 and Dylan's -15. But I thought inside the game, Dylan played better than Rob did tonight. Doesn't mean he's a better player, but he played better tonight. But it does show the value that Robbie's out there those 31 minutes, we're +5, and the 9 minutes, that he didn't play, we're -13, and so that's the value of having him out there. But he would tell you, I mean, he's got to be much better. And again, that's not all on him. Like, I've got to find, I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, it's my job to figure out how to make his life easier, how to get him playing better. And we got to work, collectively, he and I, to kind of work through his struggles right now, and we will. And he's, like I said, there's nobody in the locker room more disappointed than Robbie, just because he has such a high standard for what he wants to do. He's pretty distraught, but he's also resilient. He'll bounce back, and we'll work. We'll get better, and we'll have to be much better. Going on the road next week than we were tonight. We weren't even like I said, credit to Dayton. They definitely deserved to win. They were the better team. They were the more aggressive team. They executed better. They were better in every facet. But again, we didn't have our fastball on either end. We weren't close to as good as we need to be offensively or defensively. And so we'll take the lessons and get better.
Anybody else? Very good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.